Have you ever met someone whose presence speaks louder than words? Someone who commands attention the moment they enter a room, not because they're loud, dramatic, or seeking validation, but because there's something deeply magnetic about their energy? This isn't charisma built on flash or flare. It's a quiet, grounded power that radiates from within. It's what we call silent attractiveness. Why do some people feel naturally respected and admired without trying? They don't force attention. They don't need to. It's the calm in their voice, the way they hold themselves, and the ease with which they move through the world. You sense something different, something rare. And here's the twist. This magnetic presence has little to do with appearance and everything to do with how you carry your inner self. So what if you could become this kind of person? Not by becoming someone else, but by realigning with your truest self. In this episode, we'll uncover 11 timeless habits inspired by Stoic wisdom, principles that foster quiet confidence, emotional depth, and a resilient self-image that draws people in without saying a word. Let's begin with the first habit, because being silently attractive isn't about being seen. It's about being remembered. Habit 1. Embrace your authentic independence. There is a quiet strength in those who don't rely on others to define their worth. They don't beg for attention or approval. Instead, they walk their own path, guided by a personal compass rooted in clarity and integrity. This is authentic independence, not isolation, not pride, but a powerful form of self-alignment. True, independence doesn't mean cutting people off. It means being whole within yourself so that your relationships become partnerships, not dependencies. You live life on your terms, driven by your values, not by the expectations of the crowd. You find joy in who you are, not in how others see you. And people feel that. There's a magnetic pull to someone who knows where they're going and doesn't need applause to move forward. In a world chasing validation and social comparison, someone focused quietly on their purpose stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. You don't need to tell others you're confident. They'll feel it in your stillness. You don't need to explain that you're in control. It will be evident in your presence, your calm gaze, and your steady choices. That's what makes it powerful. But let's be honest. Independence is a courageous path. It means trusting your intuition when no one else does. It means staying true to your choices, even when they're unpopular. It means learning to enjoy your own company, not because you're avoiding others, but because you've made peace with yourself. When you reach this state, you'll notice a shift. You'll no longer crave external noise to feel whole. People will start to respect you more. Some may not even know why. They'll just feel drawn to your energy. Importantly, authentic independence isn't arrogance. It doesn't scream, "I don't need anyone." It calmly says, "I'm enough as I am, and that's why I can connect with you fully." That's what builds healthy relationships, respectful, mutual, and inspiring. 2. Start cultivating this habit. Take time to reflect. Ask yourself, am I making decisions based on my values or trying to meet someone else's expectations? Then carve out quiet moments with yourself. Go on a walk, write in a journal, or simply sit with your thoughts. These small acts realign you with who you are. When you do this consistently, people will begin to notice something different about you. They'll see someone grounded, whole, and quietly confident. You won't need to compete for attention. You'll be the calm in the room that everyone feels safe around. And remember, valuing yourself doesn't mean devaluing others. It means entering relationships not from need, but from strength. And that's what makes you silently magnetic. You leave an impression without ever raising your voice. Habit 2. Master the art of silent elegance. Sometimes the loudest voice in the room isn't the one speaking. Silent elegance is about the presence you bring into every space. It's the grace in your movements, the calm in your expressions, and the still confidence in your eyes. You don't have to dominate conversations to be heard. You don't have to steal the spotlight to be noticed. Silent elegance whispers power. It's the kind of poise that commands respect, because it reflects a deep, internal peace. And when you carry yourself this way, the world listens, even in your silence. As we continue this journey, keep in mind that each habit builds upon the last. Now that we've explored the strength of inner independence and the grace of silent elegance, let's uncover the next principle that quietly transforms the way people see and feel you. Previously, we explored the magnetic strength of authentic independence and the quiet power of silent elegance. We saw how confidence doesn't always announce itself, sometimes it simply radiates. Now let's continue deepening this journey into habits that shape silent attractiveness, beginning with the very fabric of how we present ourselves: grace, restraint, and refined presence. Silent elegance, the power of grace, without words. There's something endlessly captivating about someone who walks into a room and doesn't need to say a word to be noticed. Their energy is calm, their movements are intentional, their presence is refined. This is the essence of silent elegance. It's not loud or flashy, but it stays with you, like a note of music that lingers long after the melody ends. What makes this elegance so powerful? It's composure in motion. It's thoughtful action over unnecessary words. It's a respectful demeanor that makes people feel valued just by being in your presence. And it all begins with body language. Your confidence isn't just heard in what you say. It's seen in how you move. An upright, relaxed posture tells the world you are at ease with yourself. Steady eye contact, free of aggression, shows quiet strength. No need for exaggerated hand movements or restless gestures. Simplicity, control, stillness, these things speak volumes. Next is behavior. The manners you bring into a room reflect the dignity you hold within. Greet others warmly. Listen attentively. Be mindful of your tone and timing. You don't need to be overly formal, but a quiet grace in your interactions builds trust and respect. People won't always remember your exact words, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Beyond body language and social grace, true elegance is revealed in restraint. In a world that reacts quickly, loudly, and often emotionally, the ability to stay grounded is incredibly rare and remarkably attractive. When others spiral, you remain calm. When chaos rises, your steadiness becomes a kind of anchor. This is what the Stoics taught. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." This calm doesn't mean indifference. It means control. It means responding instead of reacting. It means pausing, breathing, and choosing your next step with intention. And when you cultivate this inner stillness, people around you sense it. They trust it. They admire it. So how do you begin to embody this silent elegance? Start with the small things. Check in with yourself throughout the day. Are you rushing through tasks? Is your breath shallow, your shoulders tense? Pause. Straighten your posture. Breathe deeply. Be present. When engaging with others, truly listen. Don't wait for your turn to speak. Hear them. Acknowledge them. And when you speak, let your words be clear, calm, and carefully chosen. Then move to refinement. Elegance isn't perfection, it's intention. Whether it's dressing with subtle style, choosing your words thoughtfully, or maintaining a composed demeanor, your consistent efforts shape the impression you leave behind. Remember, silent elegance isn't about performance. It's about presence. It's not about being someone else. It's about being your best self, quietly, confidently, and authentically. As you grow in this practice, you'll notice something powerful. People begin to associate your presence with peace. They may not be able to describe it, but they'll feel more centered, more seen, simply by being around you. And this is the power of silent elegance. It moves through the world with dignity, invites calm, and leaves others better than it found them. Habit 3. The subtle scent of sophistication. Sometimes it's the smallest, most delicate things that leave the deepest impression. The subtle scent of sophistication is one such detail, often unnoticed in conversation, yet unforgettable in memory. Have you ever found yourself reminded of someone just because of a faint fragrance left behind? Scent is one of our most primal senses, and it speaks directly to emotion and memory. A well-chosen, refined scent communicates care, intention, and elegance without needing to speak a single word. It's not about overpowering colognes or attention-seeking perfumes. It's about subtlety, a gentle, pleasant aroma, a signature touch that reflects your personality, can create a quiet allure that lingers in the minds of those around you. The subtle scent of sophistication says, I notice the details. I care for myself. I am intentional about how I show up. And, in a world where many rush through the day without noticing the small things, this attention to detail is powerfully attractive. But sophistication in scent isn't just about fragrance. It's a reflection of how you take care of yourself, how you prepare for the world each day. Cleanliness, grooming, and a thoughtful presentation send a silent but powerful message. I value myself. This has nothing to do with vanity. It's about self-respect. When you put care into how you appear, you show that you honor both yourself and those you interact with. The Stoics believed in this alignment between outer appearance and inner values. Seneca wrote, "Let your outward appearance be simple and dignified, reflecting the serenity of your mind." When your look, scent, and presence harmonize with who you are internally, you exude a kind of integrity that doesn't need to be explained, it's simply felt. So how do you cultivate this? Start by choosing a scent that aligns with your true self. Maybe it's earthy and warm, or clean and light. Whatever it is, let it complement your energy, not mask it. You don't want to walk into a room and announce your presence with a cloud of fragrance. Instead, let your scent whisper, inviting others closer, not pushing them away. And go beyond scent. Maintain a simple, consistent self-care routine. Trim your nails, take care of your skin. Pay attention to the way your clothes feel and fit. These are not superficial things, they're signals. Signals of someone who values themselves and is mindful of the energy they bring into a room. In time. People may not remember what you wore or even what you said, but they'll remember how you felt to be around. They'll remember the calm, the care, the sense of quiet dignity. And often, it starts with the smallest detail. A subtle, sophisticated presence that lingers long after you've left the room. As we continue, we'll explore the next habit that deepens this silent magnetism even further. One that isn't just about how you present yourself to others, but how you cultivate an inner state that makes your presence unforgettable. As we've seen, The art of silent attractiveness lies in the small intentional details, the grace of your movements, the calm of your voice, and even the subtle scent that lingers in your wake. Each of these habits weaves together a quiet tapestry of presence that speaks volumes without uttering a word. Now let's continue by delving deeper into habits that refine not just how others see you, but how deeply they feel your presence. Habit 4. Being fully present. In a world where everyone is constantly distracted, by phones, by thoughts, by worries, the rarest gift you can offer someone is your full attention. And that gift, simple as it may sound, is also one of the most powerful ways to be silently attractive. Being fully present doesn't just mean showing up physically, it means showing up emotionally, mentally, and energetically. It's the act of giving your undivided focus to the moment and to the person in front of you. And when you do that, when you're truly there, it creates a sense of connection that's increasingly rare and deeply felt. We've all been in conversations where the other person was clearly distracted, glancing at their phone, nodding while their mind wandered elsewhere. It's disheartening, isn't it? It feels as if your words are floating into the void, unheard and unnoticed. But when someone locks eyes with you, listens intently, and responds with thoughtful attention, it changes everything. You feel respected, valued, seen. That's the power of presence. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't need to. It offers something far more rare. Genuine human connection. Being fully present isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It means resisting the habitual urge to check notifications or rehearse your next sentence. Instead, it asks you to immerse yourself in the now, to truly hear the words spoken to you, to feel the rhythm of the conversation, to let your attention settle into the moment like still water. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." They believed that wisdom and inner strength come from being anchored in the here and now, not drifting into the past or worrying about the future. When you're present, you're in control, not of other people or of outcomes, but of yourself. And that calm control radiates. People gravitate to it, often without even knowing why. Presence also sharpens your emotional radar. You begin to notice the subtle cues, the hesitation in someone's voice, the flicker of discomfort in their eyes, the mood of a room before anyone speaks. You become more attuned, more empathetic, more socially aware. And that social intelligence, paired with your quiet attention, becomes magnetic. So how do you cultivate this rare and radiant presence? Begin by practicing mindfulness in your everyday life. When you eat, truly taste your food. When you walk, feel your steps. When you talk, listen not to reply, but to understand. Put away distractions. Look people in the eye. Offer your full attention as a gift, not a transaction. Over time, you'll notice something beautiful. People will open up around you. Conversations will deepen, trust will grow, and you'll begin to feel a kind of quiet influence that doesn't demand but invites. Presence builds trust. Trust builds attraction. And attraction, when rooted in presence and respect, becomes something unshakable. In a noisy world, be the calm voice. In a distracted crowd, be the attentive soul. You'll be remembered not for what you said, but for how you made others feel. That is the essence of silent magnetism. Habit 5. A touch of mystery. In this age of oversharing, where every thought is posted, every detail exposed, there's something undeniably alluring about someone who keeps just a little bit of themselves back. Mystery doesn't mean secrecy. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about discernment. It's about knowing when to share and when to let silence speak for you. A touch of mystery creates intrigue. It's the pause between notes in music, the shadow in a painting, the untold chapter in a story that invites the imagination to wander. When you reveal everything at once, there's nothing left to discover. But when you share selectively, with grace, with intention, you invite curiosity. You allow others to wonder, to imagine, to want to know more. This doesn't mean playing games. It means cultivating depth. It means not needing to explain every opinion or justify every choice. It means holding parts of your life sacred, not hidden, but protected. It means understanding that mystery isn't the absence of truth. It's the quiet preservation of it. And in preserving that mystery, you give others the gift of discovery. You offer them the chance to explore who you are gradually, thoughtfully, respectfully. There's power in what is unsaid, in letting your presence speak before your story unfolds. The allure of mystery isn't in being unreachable, it's in being dimensional, complex, real. When others sense that you're not constantly performing or proving yourself, but instead simply being, they are drawn to you. Not because they know everything about you, but because they want to. To nurture this habit, start by asking yourself, what parts of my story do I share too quickly? What parts could I hold with more care? Then begin to observe how others react, not when you speak, but when you choose to remain silent. You'll find that sometimes it's the silence that captivates. It's the quiet confidence that leaves people curious, not because you're hiding, but because you're whole. And as we move forward, we'll uncover how this quiet confidence, rooted in self-respect and mystery, sets the stage for even deeper influence, the kind that doesn't just draw people in but lifts them up. As we continue building the habits of silent attractiveness, we've seen how mystery isn't about being distant. It's about being intentional. It's about knowing that restraint, depth, and a little curiosity go further than loud declarations. Now let's expand on that idea and explore how cultivating inner richness and worldly awareness can elevate your presence even more. Habit 5, continued. A touch of mystery. People are naturally curious. It's part of what drives human connection. And when you maintain a hint of mystery, you become someone others want to understand. Someone they feel drawn toward, without even knowing why. But mystery isn't about being fake. It's not about playing games or hiding who you are. Instead, it's about being thoughtful about what you choose to share. You don't need to explain every decision or broadcast every detail of your life. Share what feels meaningful, what strengthens connection, and allow the rest to remain yours. When you strike this balance, you send a powerful message. I know who I am. I don't need to overshare to feel validated. And that quiet self-assurance is incredibly attractive. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus advised, "Be silent, or let your words be worth more than silence." It's not about withholding for the sake of control. It's about offering value when you speak and knowing when silence says more than words ever could. Mystery isn't limited to what you say. It's also in how you act. When you make a bold move, you don't need to explain it. When you follow your instincts, let your actions speak for themselves. There's power in letting others wonder, not out of confusion, but out of admiration. You show that you're not seeking approval, you're simply living your truth. Another way to cultivate mystery is to live a layered life. Be the kind of person who surprises others, not with drama, but with depth. Have interests, passions, and values that aren't immediately visible. Let people discover new facets of you over time, like chapters in a meaningful story. To do this, ask yourself, am I sharing to connect, or am I sharing to be seen? The goal isn't distance, it's depth. Share enough to build trust, but hold space for curiosity. Let people earn the right to know your deeper stories. And when they do, those connections will feel stronger, more genuine, more earned. People will sense that they can't easily categorize you. They'll be intrigued, drawn in. You'll become someone they think about long after the conversation ends. In a world full of open books, be the story they can't stop reading. Habit 6. Cultivate cultural wisdom. There's something uniquely attractive about a person who carries themselves with quiet confidence and a broad understanding of the world. It's not about flaunting knowledge or showing off facts. It's about being someone who listens, learns, and adds meaningful insights when the time is right. This is the essence of cultural wisdom, an inner richness that gives your presence depth and dimension. Cultural wisdom doesn't mean you need to speak 5 languages or memorize global trivia. It means being curious, genuinely curious about how other people live, think, and see the world. It means being open to different traditions, beliefs, and life stories. It means not living in a bubble but actively seeking to understand what exists beyond your own experiences. And this openness changes the way you connect with others. People feel seen, heard, and respected in your presence. You don't speak over them. You engage with them. You don't rush to judge. You ask questions. You don't impose. You invite reflection. This quiet understanding makes your conversations richer, your relationships deeper, and your presence more respected. The Stoics valued this kind of insight. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look beneath the surface. Let not the outward appearances mislead you." When you cultivate cultural wisdom, you begin to see beyond appearances, beyond surface differences, and into the shared humanity that connects us all. This perspective allows you to navigate social settings with ease. You become someone who adapts without losing authenticity. Someone who holds their values but is always learning. Someone whose mind is open but never empty. To start cultivating this wisdom, broaden your input. Read books that challenge your thinking. Watch documentaries about cultures far from your own. Have conversations with people who live differently than you do. Travel, if possible, or explore, virtually. The goal isn't to become a walking encyclopedia. It's to become someone whose presence reflects a deep appreciation for the human experience. Another essential piece of cultural wisdom is listening, truly listening, without rushing to agree or argue. When someone shares their view, pause, ask questions, seek to understand. This creates space for trust, for connection, for growth. The most respected individuals aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who speak with care and listen with presence. So ask yourself, am I learning from every person I meet? Cultural wisdom isn't about accumulating knowledge, it's about embracing humility. It's about being open enough to say, I didn't know that, tell me more. And in doing so, you earn not just attention, but admiration. When you cultivate cultural wisdom, you become someone others look to, not for opinions, but for perspective, not for dominance, but for depth. It's not just attractive, it's quietly powerful. And as we continue, we'll explore the next habit, one that brings together all the inner work you've done so far and helps you radiate it outward with subtle, dignified power. As we've journeyed through the quiet power of mystery and the richness of cultural wisdom, a deeper truth becomes clear. It's not just what you say or know that draws people in. It's who you are, your presence, your intention, your quiet way of seeing and connecting with the world. And now we move into two more habits that illuminate this path even further: compassion and joy. Habit 7. The heartbeat of compassion. In a world moving faster by the second, where conversations are often rushed and relationships surface level, there's something magnetic about a person who slows down and truly cares. Compassion isn't about grand gestures or dramatic moments. It's found in the small, consistent ways we show people that they matter: a kind word, a gentle smile, a willingness to listen when someone just needs to talk. This quiet kind of care is rare, and because it's rare, it leaves an unforgettable mark. People don't want perfection. They want presence. They want to feel heard, not judged, understood, not fixed. And when you become the kind of person who offers kindness without expecting anything in return, you become someone others instinctively trust. Compassion is quiet, but its impact is profound. While many try to gain admiration by impressing others, those who connect through genuine empathy rise above the noise. They attract not by performance but by presence. You don't have to solve people's problems. You just have to care enough to sit with them in their struggles. That alone can be more powerful than any advice. The Stoics, often misunderstood as emotionless, actually valued compassion as a vital strength. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." In other words, be patient with people. Understand their pain, even as you stay strong within. Compassion doesn't mean you allow others to walk over you. It's not about becoming a martyr. It's about finding balance, being open-hearted without losing your center, kind but not naive, empathetic but not drained. And it starts by listening. Not listening just to respond, but listening to understand. When someone shares something with you, give them your full attention. Resist the urge to fix. Sometimes all they need is for someone to say, "I hear you." Also be patient with others, yes, but especially with yourself. No one has it all figured out. Life is messy. Mistakes happen. Compassion means forgiving yourself for the times you've fallen short, and from that place of inner kindness, offering the same grace to others. When you develop this emotional maturity, people begin to feel safe around you. They'll come to you, not for solutions, but for solace. And they won't always be able to explain why, but they'll remember you. They'll remember how you stayed calm when things got tense, how you offered kindness in silence, how you made them feel valued, not for what they did, but simply for being. Ask yourself, do people feel seen and valued around me? If the answer is sometimes no, that's okay. Compassion is a habit, and like all habits, it grows with practice. Start with yourself. You can't give from an empty cup. Care for your own emotional well-being. Let your inner dialogue be gentle. Then when you meet others, that same kindness will flow outward, naturally, quietly, sincerely. You don't need to dazzle anyone. You just need to be real and kind. Because in the end, people won't always remember your words, but they will remember how you made them feel. And if you make them feel valued, they'll never forget you. Habit 8. Laughter and joy. Few things are as universally attractive as someone who knows how to smile, laugh, and bring lightness to a room. Laughter breaks barriers. It softens tension. It creates instant connection. We all go through tough times, and joy isn't about pretending life is always easy. It's about finding reasons to smile even when things are imperfect. It's about choosing to embrace moments of levity, even in the midst of challenge. That's not weakness, it's strength. True joy is resilient. It says, yes, life is hard, but I can still laugh, I can still love, I can still find beauty. And when people see that in you, they feel inspired. Because let's face it, everyone is carrying something. A hidden burden, a silent worry. When you become someone who brings warmth without effort, who smiles without forcing it, who can share a light-hearted moment with ease, you become someone others want to be around. The Stoics believed this too. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Humor, even subtle, is a response of strength. It's proof that you're not letting the world break your spirit. Laughter also builds trust. Think about the moments that have bonded you with your closest friends. Most likely, laughter played a part. Shared joy creates shared understanding. It opens the heart. It tells people, it's safe to be yourself here. And you don't have to be a comedian. You don't have to be the center of attention. You just have to bring joy with you. Gently, authentically. Start by paying attention to the things that make you smile. Let yourself enjoy them. Share a light moment with someone. Point out the beautiful absurdities of life. Laugh at your mistakes, not to minimize them, but to embrace the human experience. When you do that, you show others that life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. And that message, it's radiant. People will remember how you made them feel. And when you can make them feel lighter, even for a moment, they'll remember you fondly. To cultivate this habit, begin each day looking for one thing that brings you joy. Share it. Celebrate it, even silently. Your energy will shift, and those around you will feel it. Joy is not loud. It's not flashy. It's quietly contagious. And it may just be the most magnetic energy of all. In the next habit, we'll uncover how refinement, grace in your style, care in your expression, and attention to detail enhances everything you've cultivated so far into a presence that is truly unforgettable. Expanding the radiance of joy and compassion. So how do you go deep in this joyful presence? How do you turn occasional laughter into a quiet lifestyle of upliftment? The key lies in presence and permission, giving yourself permission to feel joy even when life is imperfect. Many of us wait for the right time to be happy. When the job is done, the bills are paid, the problems are solved. But joy doesn't wait. It exists in small things, the way sunlight filters through your window, the smell of coffee, a passing smile from a stranger. When you begin to notice and cherish these micro moments, your joy expands naturally. Start by keeping a joy journal. Nothing elaborate. Just a simple habit of jotting down one thing each day that made you smile. Over time, you'll train your mind to look for the good, even in the mundane. And joy, when paired with compassion, creates a powerful emotional signature. Imagine being the person in your social circle who both uplifts and understands, who can laugh in the storm but also lend an ear when someone needs it. This balance is rare and deeply attractive. When you walk into a room with this energy, people gravitate toward you, not because you demand it, but because your presence eases the emotional weight of others. This isn't about becoming everyone's therapist or entertainer. It's about showing up with real energy, the kind that comforts and uplifts at the same time. You become someone who adds, not subtracts, from the emotional atmosphere. And there's a certain self-respect in this as well. When you care for your inner joy and compassion, you signal to the world that you value peace, not just for yourself, but for others. You live with emotional clarity, and that radiates in everything you do, from your eye contact to the way you end a conversation. It's worth remembering. People may not always compliment your emotional intelligence. They may not point out how easy you are to talk to or how your laughter gave them relief. But they'll feel it. They'll remember it. And they'll want to be near it again. This is the beauty of silent attraction. It doesn't rely on loud declarations or constant validation. It builds slowly, powerfully, and with integrity. Compassion and joy don't require perfection. They require attention, practice, humility, and when you integrate them into your daily way of being, not just as responses but as personal values, your influence will extend far beyond what you say or do. You will be remembered not because you stood out, but because you stood steady. Next, we'll explore how style, refinement, and subtle self-expression further complete this magnetic presence, allowing your outer world to align seamlessly with the inner grace you've cultivated. As we concluded our last reflection on joy, it became clear, joy is not just something we feel, it's something we offer. Shared laughter and a light spirit don't just brighten your life, they become a light for others too. And now, let's step forward into 2 more habits that build from that lightness. Habits that reveal just how deeply inner care and awareness shape outer magnetism. Habit 8, continued. Expand the joy around you. It's not just about finding joy, it's about choosing it, making space for it, surrounding yourself with people who spark it. Spend time with those who uplift you, who laugh easily, and who encourage you to see life through a playful lens. The people we surround ourselves with shape our energy. When you choose to spend time with those who carry lightness, it reflects in your own presence. And joy, like a smile, is beautifully contagious. Ask yourself honestly, am I allowing joy to be part of my daily life? The answer doesn't require grand moments. It requires attention to the ordinary, humor in small mishaps, playfulness in the mundane, grace in the imperfect. Because when you can smile even when things don't go your way, you demonstrate a deep kind of strength. You show the world you're resilient, not rigid, that you bend but don't break. And that's something people don't just admire, they remember. Silent attractiveness isn't about showiness. It's about the steady, glowing energy that stays in a room even after you've left it. And nothing creates that glow quite like genuine laughter, shared sincerely and softly. Habit 9. The art of self-care. There's a subtle but powerful magnetism in someone who takes care of themselves, not from ego, but from self-respect. Self-care isn't indulgence, it's alignment. It's the quiet message you send to the world that says, I matter, I am worth showing up for. It's not about trends or pampering. It's about showing up every day and doing the things, big and small, that support your body, your mind, and your emotions. It begins with your physical well-being. You don't have to chase perfection, but you do need to care. Regular movement, nourishing food, restful sleep, these form the foundation of presence. When you prioritize your physical wellness, you radiate an energy that people instinctively trust. They may not know your routine, but they'll feel your strength. And when others see you care for yourself, it sends a signal. This person is balanced, grounded, intentional. That alone is incredibly attractive. But self-care goes beyond the body. Mental and emotional wellness are just as essential. Life is demanding, the world is noisy, and we all carry quiet battles. But those who practice mental self-care through journaling, meditation, reflection, or rest navigate life with more clarity and calm. They aren't thrown by every shift in the world. They move with intention. They pause before reacting. They breathe before speaking. And that centeredness? People feel it. The Stoics taught this. Seneca said, "A sound mind in a sound body is a short but full description of a happy state in this world." Caring for your inner world makes your outer world more magnetic. And don't forget, self-care includes boundaries. It's saying no when your energy is depleted. It's choosing solitude when your soul needs it. It's walking away from what drains you so you can walk toward what sustains you. People who maintain healthy boundaries are not cold. They are clear, and clarity is magnetic. It draws in those who respect themselves, and it inspires others to do the same. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that reflects my worth? If the answer is not yet, don't worry. Self-care doesn't require perfection. It requires intention. Start small: a good meal, a walk, a journal entry, a moment of quiet, a breath. Each small act adds up, and over time you'll notice something profound. People start reacting differently to you. They mirror your calm. They respect your space. They listen when you speak. Because you've cultivated something rare: quiet confidence. Self-care doesn't shout, it shows. And in that showing, in the gentle consistency of honoring yourself, you become someone others admire, someone they trust, someone they're drawn to, not because you try to be impressive, but because your presence reflects a life that feels whole from the inside out. Now, let's move to the next layer of silent magnetism, one rooted in emotional intelligence and social awareness, where your ability to read and respond to people becomes your greatest quiet superpower, deepening the habit of self-care. What does it really look like to take care of yourself in a way that quietly transforms your presence? It's not just about the actions. It's about the intention behind them. When you choose to prioritize your well-being, even in small ways, you begin to show up differently, not just for yourself, but for the world. You speak with more clarity because your mind isn't exhausted. You walk with more calm because your nervous system is supported. You make decisions with more confidence because you've created space to think and feel clearly. This is what true self-care does. It doesn't just benefit you. It subtly uplifts everyone around you. Take your morning, for example. Do you start your day with intention or reactivity? A 5-minute moment of silence, a stretch, or a glass of water can anchor your energy and peace. And that peace becomes the energy you bring into every room you enter. Or consider how you treat your downtime. Is it truly restful? Or just distraction dressed up as rest? Mindless scrolling and passive consumption may fill the hours, but they rarely refill your soul. On the other hand, a book, a nature walk, or even just sitting in silence for a few moments can reset you in a profound way. These moments are small, but they're sacred. And when done with intention, they become acts of quiet power. Self-care is also how you speak to yourself, your inner dialogue. Do you criticize every flaw, every mistake? Or do you show compassion to the person you see in the mirror? Because that too radiates outward. People can feel when someone is at peace within themselves. There's no need to prove, no need to please. Just presence, just clarity, just quiet strength. Even your environment reflects your self-care. The spaces you create, the clothes you wear, the rituals you follow, all of these things send subtle signals to the world. And when done with love, not perfection, they tell the world, this is someone who respects themselves. You don't have to shout to be seen. When you care for yourself well, you shine in a way that words can't describe. And over time, that care compounds. It builds a foundation for a life that feels sustainable, rich, and meaningful. Others may not always comment on it, but they'll feel safer around you. They'll feel more grounded in your presence, and they'll want to learn from you, not because you teach, but because you live your values so fully. That's what makes self-care not just healing, but magnetic. And now, as we step into the next dimension of silent power, we move from internal care to external awareness. Because the ability to tune into the emotional undercurrents of a room, to listen deeply, respond wisely, and lead with empathy, is what truly defines emotional intelligence. And that is where the quiet, becomes truly unforgettable. Habit 10. Emotional intelligence and social awareness. There's a quiet, undeniable strength in someone who truly understands emotions, their own and others. Emotional intelligence and social awareness are among the most powerful, yet often underrated, habits you can cultivate on your journey to becoming silently attractive. This is not about manipulation. It's not about trying to read minds or control outcomes. Rather, it's about grace. It's about knowing how to sense a shift in energy, how to offer calm in chaos, how to respond when others don't have the words for what they're feeling. At its core, emotional intelligence means understanding your own emotions while remaining attuned to those around you. Imagine being in a room where tension crackles like static in the air. An emotionally intelligent person doesn't join the noise. They steady the space. They listen before speaking. They choose their words carefully and carry their energy like a calming tide. People don't remember every word you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And when you practice emotional intelligence, what people feel in your presence is this: safety, respect, connection. You don't dominate conversations. You don't speak to win. You engage with the intention to understand, to connect, to create space. That's the essence of quiet power. Social awareness flows from the same source. It's the ability to read a room, to recognize when to speak and when to stay silent, when to step forward and when to step back. When you understand the rhythm of an interaction and respond accordingly, your presence becomes smoother, more harmonious. You begin to elevate the energy of the space you're in. The Stoics deeply valued this kind of wisdom. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This is the heart of emotional intelligence. It's not about how much you say, it's about how present you are while listening. So how do you cultivate this silent superpower? Start with self-awareness. Reflect on how you typically respond in emotionally charged moments. Do you lash out, withdraw, defend, or shut down? The goal isn't to suppress your emotions. It's to observe them, to pause, and to respond in a more balanced, intentional way. When you become familiar with your own emotional landscape, you create space between reaction and response. That space, that pause, is where your power lies. Once you've built self-awareness, deepen your empathy. Empathy is the ability to feel what someone else might be feeling, even when they're silent. It's not about fixing their problems. It's not about knowing exactly what to say. It's about showing that you care. Sometimes a nod, a gentle gaze, or a few quietly spoken words like, "I hear you," are enough to make someone feel held. These small acts, the soft presence, the quiet patience, the willingness to sit in discomfort, these are the acts that leave lasting impressions. And social awareness? It's just as powerful. Be mindful of the energy you bring into a space. Are you adding calm or tension? Do you pay attention to the mood before jumping in? Observe the dynamic. Let the silence speak first. Notice tone, body language, and facial expressions. When you learn to observe without rushing to react, you become someone who brings stability. And stability is magnetic. To cultivate this habit, practice being fully present in your interactions. Put your phone away. Make eye contact. Listen without interrupting. Pay attention to what isn't being said. These small, intentional acts become part of your silent allure. Ask yourself, do I create a space where others feel safe, seen, and heard? If not yet, that's okay. These are skills you can grow, gently and steadily. When you bring emotional intelligence and social awareness into your everyday life, people feel it. They begin to seek your company, not because you're the loudest, but because you make them feel grounded. because your presence offers clarity, calm, and connection. In a world full of chaos and ego-driven interactions, emotional intelligence stands apart. It's a quiet strength, a dignified power, and when practiced with authenticity, it becomes one of the most silently attractive traits you can possess. Ultimately, emotional intelligence is not about being perfect. It's about being present, about knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to offer advice and when to simply hold space. And people are drawn to this energy because it's rare, because it's real, because it's you. Cultivate it, and you'll leave a lasting impression that no performance ever could. Now, let's explore the final piece of this quiet puzzle: consistency and reliability. Because in a world full of noise and broken promises, nothing speaks louder than someone who simply shows up again and again. Habit 11. Consistency and reliability. There's something profoundly magnetic about someone who does what they say they'll do. No show, no spotlight, just steady, dependable action day after day. In a world where unpredictability often dominates, consistency creates a deep sense of stability. And with stability comes trust. With trust comes admiration. Being consistent isn't about announcing your efforts. It's not about making grand declarations or loud promises. It's about quiet repetition, the kind that speaks for itself. When you follow through on your word time and time again, people begin to feel safe in your presence. They know you'll be there. They know what to expect. And that reliability, it's rare. It's valuable. It's unforgettable. You don't need to talk about being dependable. You simply are. Through actions, not explanations. When you show up consistently, for advice, support, presence, or help, you build something many try to achieve but few truly possess: quiet respect. Not forced, not flashy, but deeply earned. Think about the people you trust most in life. Chances are they aren't the loudest or the most dramatic. They're the ones who always show up. The ones who keep their promises, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient. Reliability isn't perfection, it's presence. It's being there even when no one's watching, even when there's no recognition, even when it's difficult. And in today's world, that's rare. So many cancel plans last minute. So many make promises with no intention of following through. So many show up only when it benefits them. In that noise, someone who is steady stands out. Someone who follows through becomes a beacon. Stoic philosophy holds this trait in high regard. Marcus Aurelius, a master of quiet discipline, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Consistency is how you live that principle. Not through endless words, but through embodied action. You don't have to say you're reliable. Live it. Let people see it. Let your steadiness become part of your silent identity. Because there's a unique power in being the person others can count on. And it goes deeper than what others see. It's also about how you treat yourself. Consistency reflects self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, whether it's showing up for a workout, finishing what you start, or honoring your rest, you build inner confidence. You become grounded, sure of yourself, calm. And that quiet confidence doesn't need to prove anything. It simply is. To begin building this habit, start with the small things. Say you'll call someone? Call them. Plan to get up early? Get up. Set a goal to journal for 5 minutes? Do it. These little commitments may seem insignificant on their own, but together, they create momentum. They form a rhythm, a reputation. They prove to yourself and others that your word matters, and that matters. Reliability also shows up in how you manage emotions. Emotional consistency is just as important as behavioral consistency. When you walk into a room, do people feel like they're walking on eggshells? Or do they feel calm in your presence? Do you bring stability or unpredictability? Emotionally consistent people don't hide their feelings, but they don't let their emotions control the room. They respond thoughtfully. They bring balance. And in that balance, others find safety. Ask yourself honestly, am I someone people can rely on? If your answer isn't always yes, that's okay. Everyone starts somewhere. Begin with your routines. Build habits that serve your health, your goals, your mind. Then, slowly expand that consistency into your relationships. Show up when you say you will. Follow through even when it's hard. Be present not just when it's easy, but when it matters. And in doing so, you'll create something few people can replicate: trust. Trust doesn't come from loud promises. It comes from quiet reliability. And when you live this way, people begin to admire you, not for how much noise you make, but for how grounded you are. In a distracted, attention-seeking world, consistency doesn't demand applause. It earns respect. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. Because at the heart of silent attractiveness isn't performance, it's presence. It's being the person who shows up, not because you're trying to impress, but because it's simply who you are. So become that person. Let your actions speak. Let your discipline lead. Let your reliability shine, not loudly, but steadily. And as you continue walking this path of silent strength, know that your consistency isn't just a habit. It's a legacy. It's a signal to the world that you can be trusted, counted on, admired, not for what you say, but for how you live. Conclusion: let your quiet confidence speak. True strength doesn't announce itself. It doesn't seek applause. And yet it leaves an unmistakable imprint on everyone it touches. That's what makes silent attractiveness so powerful. It isn't loud. It isn't attention-seeking, it's deeply felt. Throughout this journey, we've explored 11 socially attractive habits, each one designed not to alter who you are, but to realign you with the most grounded, resilient, and inspiring version of yourself. These habits don't shout, they whisper. And in that whisper, they echo long after you've left the room. When you embrace your authentic independence, you step into your power. You stop chasing validation and begin living from within. That self-trust radiates and people notice. When you master silent elegance, you develop a grace that captivates without a single word. Through posture, presence, and poise, you leave a quiet impression of strength and calm. With a subtle sophistication, you show that you care about the small things, the scent you wear, the care you take, because how you show up silently reflects how much you value yourself. Being fully present makes you unforgettable. In a distracted world, those who truly listen and engage stand out. You become a safe place, a calm center. By cultivating a touch of mystery, you spark curiosity. You allow your story to unfold slowly, layer by layer, inviting deeper connection without overexposure. Cultural wisdom shows that you're not just living in your own world, you're tuned into the world at large. This habit builds bridges, widens understanding, and adds depth to every conversation. Through compassion and empathy, you offer kindness without performance. You become someone others feel seen by, heard by, understood by, and that makes you unforgettable. Joy and laughter. Remind people that life is still beautiful. When you carry joy quietly, when you bring lightness to heavy places, you attract others, not with noise but with warmth. Self-care. Practice consistently becomes a message of self-worth. When you tend to your health, boundaries, rest, and growth, you project balance. You become someone who lives in harmony with themselves, and it shows. Emotional intelligence and social awareness. Allow you to read the room, speak with grace, and respond with depth. People trust those who can tune into unspoken feelings and adapt with humility. And finally, consistency and reliability. Build the foundation of trust. Being dependable, not occasionally but always, makes you stand tall in a world full of inconsistency. Together, these habits create a presence that's calm, composed, and deeply attractive. You don't need to pretend to be anyone else. You don't need to seek external validation. You don't need to be loud. You simply need to be aligned with your values, with your purpose, with your best self. True attractiveness begins the moment you stop performing and start living intentionally. The moment you choose integrity over impression, presence over performance, purpose over perfection. These habits aren't quick fixes, they're quiet practices. But when you live them, when you make them part of your everyday rhythm, your life changes, your energy shifts, and the world begins to respond. People will be drawn to your quiet strength, to your steady joy, to your thoughtful grace. They may not always be able to explain why, but they'll feel it. So as you move forward, pause and reflect. Which of these habits speaks to you most? Which one feels like the next natural step in your journey? Start there. Take one small action, one new intention, and let it grow. Because this path, the path of silent strength, isn't walked overnight. It's shaped moment by moment, step by step. It's built in how you speak, how you show up, how you choose to live. Thank you for being part of this journey. And as you continue becoming the best version of yourself, stay grounded, stay intentional, and let your quiet confidence speak louder than words. Until next time.